Alright, so recently I made a video that Professor Utonium is actually a distant relative of Samurai Jack. And I know for the most part it sounded very far-fetched, but let's get into some images so that you could see that actually Powerpuff Girls and Samurai Jack are in a singular verse. Alright, so here's a picture from Samurai Jack, and what it looks like is just the ruins of a city, but what city is it? And here's a picture from the Powerpuff Girls. And this one depicts the city of Townsville, which is what I'm trying to make a connection for. Now I know you might say, well, Zen, that city could have been anything. Alright, so let's go a little bit further. Now there was an episode in Samurai Jack where you see Jack basically walking through a desolated area. But if you look very closely, you could see a sign, and it's a dog sign that says, Talking Dog. Now let's switch back to the city of Townsville, and you'll see that there's a picture in the Powerpuff Girls, a sign that says Talking Dog. Looks pretty similar, right? But let's see them side by side. It looks pretty similar, correct? And I know some of you will say that's a coincidence, and I'll say, what? A coincidence? Now from this, there's possibly three explanations. Number one is that the creators just wanted to use some kind of reference points from other shows and replicate them again. Number two is that Samurai Jack and Powerpuff Girls are in a singular verse and they are sharing the verse. Number three is quite similar to number two, that they're in a singular verse, but they're in different timelines. Hence the reason why there's slight differences within the Talking Dog poster. And now the reason why I'm going for the different timelines portion is because at the end of Samurai Jack, basically he went back in time in order to defeat Aku, and he went with Ashi. But most of what happened in that desolate future happened because Aku was a part of that future. Now, what if what happens in the Powerpuff Girls is exactly how Samurai Jack ends? Basically, Jack defeats Aku and everything moves on the way it's supposed to move within the timeline itself. And then we get Jack's distant relative, which is Professor Utonium, who uses Chemical X, which is a synthetic representation of Aku's essence, and he combines it with sugar and spice and everything nice to create the perfect little girl. And thus we have the Powerpuff Girls. Alright, but let's get a little bit crazy. What if Ashi and Jack were supposed to have kids and the kids were supposed to be three daughters? And yes, there was symbolism of feeling lucky to have Ashi in his life when we saw the ladybug, but what if that was a saying like, well, your family will continue to prosper and it'll take a couple of accidents throughout the generations, but you will have your daughters. I know that sounds crazy, but I hope you liked it.